Hey, what's up, y'all? This is Rodney, and I'm back. I look a mess. Okay. I got to do something with my head. What's up, y'all? This is Rodney, and I'm back. And I wanted to go ahead and talk about Married to Medicine. This is just my opinion. I think that Married to Medicine is the best and most consistent show on Bravo. I do. I think that Married to Medicine is better than The Housewives. I do. I think that when it comes to consistency, um, just delivery of a show, I will put Married to Medicine at the top of the list. And yeah, yeah, I'm gonna say that. I'm gonna say that. I'm gonna say that. I am. Um, anyways, and I also too believe that even with the mess that happens on the show, which is a lot of mess. Oh, no, at one point we did. At one point we did start we kind of started losing the plot on Married to Medicine. But for the most part, like I still think it's the best show, and the most consistent show on Bravo. Anyways, so shout out to Married to Medicine. Okay, so we're just gonna talk. I love this episode. I did. The way I was in here cackling. I must say that Toya is not some. Toya has always been one of those reality personalities where I can take or leave. If she's on the show, she's on the show. If she's not, she's not. She was kind of like a Karen to me, Karen Huger. She was like a Candace Diller Bassett at one point. Um, I remember when Candace first joined Potomac, I was just like, I mean, shot right. I mean, I guess, girl, whatever. I felt the same way about Karen up until what BravoCon 2023. It's kind of like Karen is funny. She has her moments, but I can take a leave, Karen. Um, Toya really, I felt like she stepped up to the plate this episode and got the mess crack-a-lacking. Okay, she knew Heavenly wasn't gonna be around, so she said, "Girl, I'm about to step up and do what needs to be done." All right, so let's just start with Quad. Quad, the show opens up with Quad. She's at home. The night before was her 44th birthday party. Um, Basically, her and King they still live in separate homes. I put what's the rush? Y'all gotta live together, girl. I just don't know what the rush is. I mean, girl, people do stuff out of order all the time. Can we just talk about it? People have sex before marriage. They have kids before marriage. Girl, sometimes people have kids with people they don't even know. Catch that tea. So I don't know why Quad. I understand Quad is going on this journey to try to have a kid, but like I said, people do stuff out of order all the time, most of the time. So her and King having to be in a rush to live together. I mean, I guess, girl, but I would hope that if they did move together, it would be a place they found together, and that Quad still keeps her home. I would call Quad the biggest fool if she gave up what she worked so hard for something that may not last. Anyways, but we ain't got to talk about that right now because that's not even um, a part of the discussion. Angel, so some of you may not know, but Angel, she is someone who was on Basketball Wives. I do believe that Angel might be a better fit on Married to Medicine. Angel did always kind of. I don't remember a lot about Angel. I think I remember thinking she was boring. I don't know. I can't remember. That's why I don't remember. Okay. But I do think Angel might be a better fit for um, Married to Medicine, a Real Housewives, Basketball Wives. You know, I mean, the girls ain't too far off, if we're going to be honest, from Bravo to Basketball Wives, anyways. At this point on Bravo, girl, it really is pretty much a VH1 Zeus type of tea. But yeah, she's on the show now. She's a nurse. Um, Simone and Jackie. I love when we see the doctors, at work and you know, they're just doing their thing. So Simone receives a phone call, I guess, from somebody at the office about a patient. And she's basically telling the person what needs to be done. And I was like, come on. I just love when I hear them at work and they're talking and they're using, you know, the vocabulary that you usually use, you know, when you're at work, you're a doctor using these words where, girl, I know I would get tongue-tied trying to say. So I love that. Simone and Quad. Girl, let's just talk about it. I have a lot to say about Simone and Quad. I thought that we were done with the whole Simone and Quad back and forth, but clearly we're not. I do believe that Simone does not like Quad. I really do believe that. I believe that Simone really dislikes Quad. And I don't like to use this word because I feel like it's lazy sometimes, and it's mostly used amongst women or people when they are talking about women. But a part of me feels like there may be a tad bit of jealousy there. Not because I think that Quad came into this show as like the hood rat from Tennessee. Shout out to Lisa Nicole. And Quad became the fan favorite. And I really think that for Simone, who I believe is one of those people who believes in the hierarchy, right? Where even they tried to low-key get Phaedra to submit, and Phaedra's a whole lawyer. I believe Simone is bothered by the fact that Quad may not necessarily be now, but was a fan favorite for a long time. Because I think in Simone's head, it's like, how this hood ass bitch, because they used to treat Quad like the hood bitch who couldn't speak in season 1. Okay? How does hood bitch come in on the show and we're the doctors? And Simone really wants to be like a reality TV star. You could tell the way that she acts. How she come in and the girls go up for her. You see what I'm saying? Because outside of Heavenly and Quad, Simone really isn't discussed. Even though when I first started watching Married to Medicine, my fave was Simone. Hands down. One time I used to go up for mother. I still like Dr. Simone. That's still my girl. She got some nasty ass ways. But I remember Simone was my girl. Because I love the fact that Simone was this doctor who liked to curse and drink. Okay? Married to Medicine really did change my mind. Because I used to be one of those people too who believe that your profession determines how you should act. And if you're a doctor, then you don't curse. If you're a doctor, you don't drink. If you're a doctor, you don't twerk and throw your ass in a circle. When the truth of the matter is that has nothing to do with nothing. Because I could be a doctor from 9 to 5 and throw my ass in a circle, girl, from 5 when I get off work until, girl 8:59 the next day. You know? But yeah, I think Simone does not like Quad, and I think there's a tad bit of jealousy there. I think they wanted to humble Quad for the longest, and Quad would not allow them. I think the friendship that her and Toya have created was based off of the fact that they both hated Quad. Now, with all of that being said, I have to be fair. If we're going to be fair, the beef was reignited. Quad took the first swing. Simone is not wrong. If we left the show and we trying to put everything behind us and hit the restart button, I didn't know any of this until it was brought to the show. So basically, Quad was doing an interview and they were talking about the show The Traitors. And they asked her who would be the best fit for Traders, and she said Dr. Simone. Now, even though some people could be like, "Oh, girl, that's not that big of a deal. It shouldn't be that serious." But if you know that you're coming off a very sensitive place with an individual, then I don't think the smartest thing to do would be to say that they would be the best fit for a show titled The Traders. So Quad said that, and then in response, Simone was doing a YouTube video with Sweet Tea. Sweet Tea is no longer on the show. Shout out to the girls who really thought Sweet Tea. Shout out to the girls who really thought Sweet Tea was an amazing addition to Married to Medicine, and that y'all really thought that girl they was gonna pick Sweet Tea girl over Quad. Okay. Girl, they use Sweet Tea. Girl, the gag is Toya, Heavenly, Simone, Jackie. They all use Sweet Tea, girl. And then when they were done using Sweet Tea, they disposed of her. That's exactly what happened. So she did it. She went down to Sweet Tea's YouTube channel, and Sweet Tea made a joke about her almost paying off Quad's house, because she moved into Quad's old house, which y'all know the story about Dr. G and Quad, all that shit. Anyways, so I feel like I have to say it, because what if somebody watches this video and they don't know what I'm talking about? So basically, Quad used to be married to a man named Dr. G. He was on the show, of course. They got a divorce, and then this lady slid into Dr. G's DMs and said, "I can give you what you want." And then they end up bringing them on the show. And so then it was Quad, her ex-husband, Dr. G, and his new wife, Sweet Tea, basically, on the show that Quad has been on since season 1. Okay, shot the pilot for it. Hello? Anyways, so Simone sat down to Sweet Tea's channel. She made a joke about Quad not being able to pay her mortgage. Was it fucked up? Yeah. But if it went the way that Simone said it went, then it is what it is. If Quad made the comment about Simone being on the Traders, then Simone made the comment about Quad not being able to pay her mortgage or questioning how she pays her mortgage. Quad took the first swing. She did. She did. So, it is what it is. I still don't think Simone likes Quad, but I can say in this scenario, Simone wasn't wrong. That was on Quad. And just like Contessa said, the thing that gets Simone riled up is if you mention her finances. I do think we got to get this. I do think that, girl, the difference between Quad and Toya, okay? You can say what you want to say about Quad, but I've never heard in how many seasons? 12 seasons of Quad having any type of money problems. Quad is an OG. I think Quad was demoted one season, I believe. But for the most part, I can almost guarantee that Quad makes the same thing as Dr. Jackie and some of the other girls. I remember Heavenly coming out of her mouth, and this was, I don't know, girl, probably about 5 or 6 years ago. I can't remember. And Married to Medicine has never been one of those shows that pulled in 1 million viewers. I remember Heavenly saying that she knows for a fact that some of those ladies were making $80,000 per episode. $80,000 per episode. And if you think Quad was not one of those ladies, you're sadly mistaken. I think at one point Quad, I think last year or the year before last, when they tried to bring on Dr. G and Sweet Tea, I think that she wanted a raise, because I think she was making the same thing as Dr. Jackie or something like that, girl. Probably everybody was making the same thing. She wanted a raise, which she should have gotten, due to them bringing on her ex-husband who used to drag about her hair. And Quad pulled a knife out on him. A mess. Ghetto. Girl, my stomach's still growling. Girl, I just ate a little pizza. I had a little frozen pizza in my freezer. Clearly that didn't do anything. What was I saying? Oh, Quad has never had any money issues. So, for people to act as if Quad would not be able to afford a $2 million house, girl, and she's probably bringing in God knows how much money from the show, um, I don't think that it's too far fetched. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's not like Quad went and got a $7 million house. Um, Toya and Eugene, baby. So Toya and Eugene have moved into a new home, custom built. The house is gorgeous. The decor, I feel like the decor is something lacking with the decor. I feel like I don't know, it's something lacking with the decor. Um, I hate when I see people, especially like in a custom built house. Girl, I think you need to go get you an interior designer and girl deck that whole out. Hello? I don't know, something about her decor that was I was like, I don't know. But the house is gorgeous. Um, I put why are her cabinets slamming? I don't know if that girl she was closing a cabinet and you could hear it you could hear it close. Girl, a custom built house like that, honey, girl, that cabinet you shouldn't even hear that motherfucker close. But I don't know if that was a sound that they edited into the show or if that was actually her cabinets closing. I don't know. That bothered me for some. Like I know why it bothered me because girl, I know girls who got cabinets you can't even hear them hoes close. I got girls you can't even hear their dishwasher. I got girls. Girl, my best friend you can't even hear his dishwasher on. Okay, you can't hear his cabinets close or nothing. So I know if he can get that in his house, and girl, his house is not custom built at all. Girl, I know damn well Toya should be over there, girl, top of the line. Anyways, let me shut up. Because I'm in a 600 and girl 17 square foot apartment. One and one. All right. So this is what I wanted to talk about. So Eugene took a job 5 hours away. I think it's two and a half there, 2.5 back. Um, but nonetheless, whether it's 5 hours there or 2.5 hours there, girl, he took a job outside of Atlanta, and he's gone 5 days out of the week. It's a job that pays a lot more money than his previous job, and Toya is complaining about him being gone. Toya gets paid a lot of money. I remember at one point Eugene saying that Toya gets paid more than him from the show, right? That came out of his mouth. And I'm sure she probably still does. With that being said, I don't want anybody to take what I'm about to say the wrong way, but this is just how I feel. We want to live like a rich black woman. We do. There's nothing wrong with wanting to live like a rich black woman. One of the issues that I've always had with Toya is I felt that she was the kind of person who would work her husband down to the ground while she sits at home and complains and just drinks wine. One thing I do love about Toya, with everything I'm about to say, is Miss Thing really is a queen of her castle. You got Eugene working like a motherfucking slave, and then you got those kids in the kitchen cooking steaks. Did y'all see that? Baby Toya said right at that goddamn kitchen counter, poured her and Eugene a glass of wine, and one of those sons went in that kitchen and started seasoning those steaks up and cooked them. I said, I know that's right. Toya lives a very soft life. Outside of this job, outside of the check she gets from Bravo, Toya don't be working. I know she was like a little Mary Kay saleswoman for that little line, that little wine line that she had going on. The thing that bothers me the most with Toya is Toya will complain complain about now, like Eugene working away from home, being gone 5 days out of the week. But what the fuck are you doing? I think it's trifling as fuck. Because Eugene probably took on that extra job because now he got that high ass mortgage. Because that house is like $3 million. So now Eugene has to work to provide the lifestyle that you want while you complain about him working too much. But what are you doing to help? Because clearly the money that you're bringing in from the show and even his income is not enough. Because if it was, he wouldn't have to work away from home and be gone 5 days a week. I think that it is, I think it is a sin to have a platform that Toya has and she does not use it. And she knows that it could help the family financially. Toya should have started her own wine by season 2. You can say what you want to say about Quad, but Quad has tried to use this platform whether she failed at the businesses or not. She came out with that expensive ass doggy couture line, whatever. I think it flopped, but at least she tried. You see what I'm saying? Toya is the wine girl of the show. Toya should have come out, baby, you got Cynthia Bailey who opened up a motherfucking Bailey wine cellar. Baby, I ain't seen Cynthia drink a glass of wine. Toya should have started her own wine line by season 2. If Martell Holt from Love and Marriage Huntsville can come out with that clear ass juice that he was selling in a bottle, if Tisha and Marceau can come out with chocolate champagne in a bottle, whatever, then Toya, the girl that is the connoisseur of wine, should have had her own wine line a long time ago. Toya should have come out with her own goddamn party agency. Toya loves to throw parties. Toya should be able to just slap her name on something and make some money, just based off of her being on this show. I don't get it. You got the girls like Candy Burrs. Every season on Real Housewives of Atlanta, that bitch was coming out with something. Okay? Coming out with something, opening something, trying to sell something. And I think it makes it look worse for Toya because, girl, we know y'all have had financial issues. And Eugene does work like a dog. I remember one time, y'all, on the show, it was probably about 2-3 seasons ago. Eugene was looking in the confessional. Eugene just looked tired. He looked tired and sad. And I remember mentioning this in my reviews, like, ooh, girl, do y'all see the way Eugene be looking in the confessionals? Girl, he just tired. That's the problem. It's not that Toya shouldn't live the soft life. It's, girl, you're living the soft life at the expense of your husband. And you could do something that could contribute more money to the family financially. Because clearly the money that you're bringing in from the show and the money that he's making is not enough. Because if it was, he wouldn't have to leave the house 5 days a week and take on these extra shifts. And these, I remember heavily coming down to YouTube and talking about how many shifts that Dr. Eugene used to take at the hospital. Because remember, Dr. Damon was his mentor at one point. So she knew exactly how much based off of the position that Dr. Damon used to work. She knew exactly how much Eugene used to make and all types of stuff. Not because that's what Dr. Damon exposed to her, but based off of them, you know. Anyways, I just think it's a mess. And Toya is just complaining. And it's like, girl, what the fuck are you complaining for when you could help solve the problem? I think it's lazy as fuck. I do. Anyways, Contessa and Scott. Speaking of lazy, Scott is lazy too. All I know is Scott, I remember last year Scott like making a joke about Contessa working while he's at the house. And then fast forward to this year, and I know that they have different patients, and they may do different things, and Contessa may just take on a lot. But when Contessa's at the computer finishing up the day, and he comes in talking about, I was watching football. Girl, based off of the comments he made last year, I was like, ooh, is Scott lazy? Does Scott do the bare minimum while Contessa carries the load? Because that's what it seems like to me. Anyways, they just bought a building. The building was like 1.3, it was over $1 million. They used their own money. I said, come on, baby. I said, I know that's right, baby. It must be nice. They use their own money, and now they're doing renovations. And of course, I've always been told that, it's not always been told, but I've always heard that when you build or when you're renovating, girl, it's going to be double the time and double the money. Okay? So right now, I think they're at $400,000 with renovations, and I think the price is continuing to rise. So hopefully they get everything situated. Quad and Dr. Alicia. I like Dr. Alicia. I think she's a good cast. I think she's a good cast member. She's sending out invitations. She's doing like a polo type of event. The girls get dressed up, kind of like on Real Housewives of Potomac when they went down to the Derby. I called it Freaknik. They call it Freaknik, something like that. I call it Freaknik. So they were doing like a Derby style, but it was really in the back of somebody's yard, girl. They really didn't go to the Derby, but it is what it is. So she's sending out invitations. When Quad said the people that went down to the Home Depot and did an old nasty do-it-yourself project. and did an old nasty do-it-yourself project. Simone and Jackie. Oh, no, I mean Simone and Toya. So basically, girl, okay. There was a picture, I think when they went out of town last year on a cash trip, there was a picture, they took a picture, and I'm not gonna lie, even I was like, ooh, girl. The cast took a picture, and Curtis was behind Dr. Heavenly, and he had his hand on Dr. Heavenly's waist. No, I don't think it's anything that, girl, needs to be discussed. I don't think that Dr. Damon needs to go check Curtis. I don't think that Heavenly, I don't even think it was that big of a deal. But I'm not going to sit here and pretend that when I saw it, I was like, girl, why his hand on her waist? So basically that was the picture. And so Toya was on Watch What Happens Live, and one of the questions, they basically brought up the picture of Curtis's, and Curtis is Dr. Jackie's husband, of Curtis's hand around on the side of Heavenly's waist. And Toya basically responded on Watch What Happens Live, well, she's not the first person that he's basically put his hands on. I think I was one of them also. Because, girl, seasons ago, when I tell you, girl, this is probably what, 8 seasons ago, girl, I can't remember, a long time ago. They went on a cash trip, and I don't remember the details, so y'all might have to help me out with this. They were talking about something, and I think Toya stood in front of Curtis, and Curtis pulled Toya down on his lap. Or either Toya was trying to test Curtis to see would he pull her down, and he did. Either way, I think Curtis pulled Toya down on his lap. Yeah. So basically, Jackie is pissed off about that. Not what happened between Toya and Curtis, about Toya going on Watch What Happens Live and saying what she said. I'm gonna say this. I can understand why Jackie and Curtis both pissed off. Y'all know I do not see it for Curtis. Baby, let me be very clear. Girl, the way I can drag Curtis every day, all day on my YouTube channel, girl, I ain't never liked the way he did Dr. Jackie. I ain't never forgave him. That's not my husband. I don't give a damn. Girl, I don't give a damn. I don't give a damn. That's not my husband. But girl, I'm going to drag Curtis every chance I get, but I'm not going to drag him today. I can understand why Jackie and Curtis are pissed off. But Curtis does also has to realize that, girl, you open up this door when you decided to stick your dick into another bitch vagina. Hello? Curtis cheated on Dr. Jackie, right? That opens up the door for people to start questioning or basically thinking that you are not a man of integrity because you're not. But I think that when Toya adds more into it, especially some shit that happened, girl, so long ago. Well, he grabbed on Heavenly's waist, but she wasn't the first. I was one of them too. It's kind of like, girl. I can see why Jackie is like, girl. And I can see why Curtis is like, girl. Like, it does. It's messy. It's messy. It's messy. It's messy. But on the flip side, Curtis, if you didn't do it, then Toya wouldn't have shit to talk about. Hello? So Jackie is pissed off. She was mad that Toya did that. And I would be pissed off too. And this is another reason why Jackie don't fuck with you, Toya. Because Quad is just kept like let me tell you something. Jackie ain't never liked Toya, and I don't think Jackie liked Quad at all at first. I think she tolerates Quad. I think she's cool. I think she liked Quad. I think she's grown to accept Quad for who she is. But I think at first none of them liked Quad, including Toya. Toya still don't like Quad. But anyways, I don't think that Jackie likes Toya, and I don't think that Simone likes Quad. And the relationship between, as many times I've seen Quad and, Toya and Jackie on my TV screen, and they barely communicate, I think this was the first time I've seen Jackie and Toya talk as much as they did. This one episode. I can't tell you a time that I've seen Toya and Jackie talk this much, except for that time when I think they were at Mariah's house when they got into it and Jackie took her to the bathroom. I think Toya was crying or some shit. Girl, I can't remember, girl. Anyways, baby, Toya had me hollering though. Toya says that it's nice that Heavenly has been very nice, and she doesn't want to touch on it. But she saw some things on social media. Bitch, when I tell you I ain't never screamed so loud in my life. When Toya said, bitch, when Toya said, all I know is I saw something on social media about some guy named Damon Jr. being arrested. And he might be related to Heavenly. I said, bitch, what? Bitch! I said, girl, not you just threw out there, girl. Girl. I said Bonita Betrayal. Bitch, ain't that the lady from A Living Color, Bonita Betrayal? Bitch, you ain't heard it from me. But I saw something on social media about some guy named Damon Jr., and he might be related to Dr. Heavenly, girl, but you ain't heard it from me. So I don't know if it's him or not. I said, girl, you messy as hell. Simone basically just says that, girl, it's true. He did get arrested. This is the thing. It's nothing to be embarrassed about unless he got arrested for something that he should be embarrassed about. If he got arrested for speeding tickets, like warrant, stuff like that. That's not a big. Well, I guess it depends on what the warrant is for. But if it's something like that, like it's not that big of a deal. He got arrested because he had a warrant out for a speeding ticket. Now, if it's other stuff like knocking a bitch head between a washer and a dryer, I don't know, stealing, writing hot checks, and that could be something that he's embarrassed about. But I would need to know why he got arrested before I, really just go in and let have. Let me just say this. No, kids are not off limits. And I'm tired of y'all grown kids are not off limits. Let me just say this, okay? This whole thing about the husbands being off limits, kids being off limits, girl, please. That's some shit that people made up because they think it sounds good. We have watched too much reality TV to know that, girl, the kids will come up in the midst of an argument if they feel like that's the card they want to pull. And husbands will definitely come up in the midst of an argument. One thing for you to feel as though kids that are underage shouldn't be brought up into the conversation. But even then, girl, depending on where you go with me, like I said, girl, I might not bring up your kids first, especially if they're underage. I don't have kids, but if you brought up my nieces, then girl, I'm bringing up your kids. Straight like that. So kids are not off the motherfucking table. Bring up my nieces and see how fast I bring up your kids. And you better hope I don't know nothing about your kids. Okay? It's that simple. Now, when it comes to the grown people, bitch, Damon Jr. is damn near 30 years old. Either he's 27, about to turn 28 this month, or he's 28, about to turn 29. Either way, he's closer to 30 than he is 18. So this whole thing of, oh, the kids are off limits, Damon Jr. should be, you got the game fucked up. Damon Jr. is a grown-ass man, and y'all know Heavenly is my girl to the day I die, but girl, we got to keep it real over here. Dr. Heavenly done caused too much chaos and confusion on this show. And she quick to say whatever the fuck she want to say. Unfortunately now, the way that Toya gonna get at Dr. Heavenly is through Damon Jr. It is what it is. It is what it is. I'm not mad at Toya. Because if I was Toya, I'd be doing the same goddamn thing. Girl, the way I have seen Dr. Heavenly drag the dog fuck out of Toya. I remember Dr. Heavenly said down on YouTube one time that Toya is an embarrassment to black people, and that she perpetuates the stereotype that black people are not good with their finances. I saw and heard that with my own motherfucking eyes and ears. She sure did. I remember one time, I remember even mentioning this to Dr. Heavenly when she came to my channel, we interviewed. I think I was on her channel. I was like, girl, the way you be dragging Toya, it got to the point where sometimes I would get uncomfortable. That's how much she used to drag Toya Harris. Like, damn. So I'm not mad at Toya at all. Like I said, I would be doing the same thing, especially knowing that Damon Jr. is damn near 30 years old. Baby, that would have been the first thing that would have popped out of my mouth. Girl, so what's going on with Heavenly and her son getting arrested, girl? What's that about? I would have. Like I said, it's fucked up that I don't think Heavenly has ever really talked about anyone's kids, but we're not gonna frame this as though Damon Jr. is 12 years old or he's 15 years old. What I think is out of line is when Tiffany on Love and Marriage Huntsville came on the show and brought up Monster, which is one of the kids on the show. He was like vaping or something at the school. And she brought that up into conversation. I was like, ooh, girl. Now, if they would have brought up one of her kids, then I wouldn't have gave a damn. But I did kind of cringe when she brought it up. I was like, oh, girl, okay, this is what we doing? In my stomach, I gotta give me something else to eat, girl. That little piece ain't did shit. Anyways, but yeah, the kids are not off limits, and I'm sticking to that. Like I said, I'm not the one to bring up kids first at all, but if you bring up my kids, not my kids, my nieces, I'm bringing up your motherfucking kids. And you better hope I don't know nothing about your kids, because it is what it is. But if your kids are grown, like Evelyn's daughter is not off limits. Okay, I'm talking about Evelyn's daughter from Basketball Wives. She ain't off limits. Girl, Jackie Christie's daughter, she ain't off motherfucking limits. Damon Jr. definitely ain't off. Girl, those are grown-ass people who fucking with got kids and all types of shit. Anyways, girl, let's move on. Brandy, this review's getting too long. Brandy, she's a nurse practitioner. She's new on the show. When I tell you Dr. Jackie ain't shit and she going to hell with gasoline draws on, when Dr. Jackie asked that lady, does she have a thyroid? And then said, maybe she don't know about it. And then said, I've just been staring at it. See? That's exactly why Toya did what she did. You know, girl, that's exactly why Toya did what she did. Because to sit there and tell that lady, you got a fat ass neck. Bitch, do you got a thyroid? Bitch, do you have a thyroid? Because your neck is fat as fuck. And maybe you don't know about it, sister. I'm a doctor. Girl, you might want to get that check fat with your fat neck. I said, oh my God. Jackie, that was so rude and so insensitive, girl. Anyway, so Heavenly is running for office. I forgot what type of position she's running for. She's not at the party. Toya believes it is because she doesn't want to discuss Damon Jr. I will say this much. It does appear that that could be the reason why, but I do know that I can't speak for every Bravo show, but you are not allowed to run for office and be on the show. I think that was part of the reason why when Eva was on Real Housewives of Atlanta, she didn't receive a peach. Her first seat, she was a friend because remember her ex-husband, he was running for office. And then he lost, and then the next season she became a full-time housewife. Um, but it is true though. You can't run for office and be on the show. Heavenly did an interview, I think, with Candy, and she said she was surprised that they because I thought Heavenly, I mean, Heavenly is Heavenly, so Heavenly ain't going nowhere. But basically, yeah, all I'm saying is this review is getting too long. Heavenly, it really could be because she was running for office that she had to work out the kinks to be on the show because they usually don't allow you to be on the show. Or at least like a full-time position. So I think that's why Heavenly is a friend this year due to her running for office. Anyways, Toya asks Dr. Jackie, is Curtis mad at me? Because he didn't speak to me when he came to the party. Well, of course he is, girl. Dr. Jackie says it painted Curtis out to be someone who he isn't. Baby, why Toya said today? Bitch, what? Bitch, Toya had me hollering today. And then then Dr. Jackie says, basically there was one person before, that I was aware of in the past. Basically the person who the person who Curtis cheated on her with. And then Toya said, Toya had me hollering. Toya wants an apology from Jackie because Jackie basically says that she sat on Curtis's lap and Curtis didn't pull her down. Like I said, I can't remember. I want to feel like Toya was trying to test him or something. She stood her big ass in front of Curtis. At the end of the day, girl, I don't really give a fuck. Girl, that happened, 9 years ago? Girl, you still asking for an apology about some shit that happened, girl, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Girl, let it go. Girl, it's funny to be brought up into conversation, I guess, but to be expecting an apology from Jackie, and Jackie told her, hell no. And that was pretty much it, girl. Toya, girl, I gotta go, girl. This is getting too long. Simone addresses Quad and says that, girl, I'm not mad at you. She starts to cry. Simone, when we got into it, I didn't get out of bed for 2 days. And girl, it pretty much went off, girl. Girl, this review was too motherfucking long. I don't know what the fuck we talked about. Yeah, anyways, that's it. Toya was an MVP of this episode. Toya had me cracking up, even though I think she's lazy as fuck. And if Dr. Eugene want to work until his fingers fall off, then I guess let him, girl. I think it's a sin for anybody to have the platform that these ladies have, and they don't try to use. Bitch, Stacey came in first season on Potomac, and girl, this bitch is selling weed now. Okay, I'm just saying, girl, we gonna get some money somehow. Girl, we gonna get some money, girl, and it ain't gonna be just this check down to the Bravo. Anyways, I'm gone. I'll talk to y'all later. Have a good night. Bye, y'all.